oh, people just are just too emotional. They just can't kill everyone who comes over an imaginary line in the ground. Hello. My name is Ashlee, and welcome to my channel. Today, we're going to be talking about Asmongold getting banned. Yes. I thought this would be interesting to talk about because Asmongold and a lot of right-wingers online tend to say the most heinous things consistently all the time, and almost never get punished for it. Actually, the algorithm tends to reward that kind of rhetoric. And so it's interesting that Twitch banned him, and we're going to go over that, and of course we're going to go over the parallels to Hassan. But before we get into it, please like and subscribe and turn on post notifications. I did just post a video about door knocking with DSA for Cori Bush and everything like that. My dad watched it and he said I was a little wired, and you know, maybe I was upset. I was very upset. I still get upset. But you know, my whole going like keeping Wesley Bell accountable is just going to be like, I have a lot of ideas, but it's mainly going to be about educating about how corrupt he is, because that's something that I think most people didn't know and didn't realize, is just how incredibly corrupt Wesley Bell is. So I just wanted to clarify that, but also I feel like I shouldn't have to clarify that, or I feel like I shouldn't have to like feel bad or feel self-conscious or whatever about what I say, because at least I'm not saying what Asmongold is saying, you know? Like, at least I'm not out here saying the shit that he's saying. So let's get into it. So, you know, it's interesting that Asmongold got banned during this time, because during this time, we like Hassan has been getting talked about, of course, as like a kingmaker and all this other kind of stuff because of Abdul, because of all of the congressional races in New York, and just because of his work and his advocacy in these midterms, in these primaries. And that has caused like Rolling Stones to talk about him. That of course has caused tons of you know, reactions from all sorts of directions. And that's actually probably going to be what we're going to talk about on Wednesday. It's just all of the craziness, all of the reactions to Abdul and Hassan and all that kind of stuff. But what I think is interesting is that Hassan is getting all of this attention because people are calling him extreme or radical and stuff like that. But you have Asmongold over here saying insane shit, just like genocidal, bloodthirsty shit on a daily basis. And he never gets any consequences until now. And so we're gonna watch this video, and then we're gonna talk about it. So this is what got him banned.
This is emotional blackmail, right? Well, you can't shoot these people. They have kids with them. Well, then don't bring your kids. If you don't want to get shot, then don't bring your fucking kids. It's really simple. You mean you'd shoot adults and deport the kids, right? Well, I'd shoot whoever. Yeah, I'd shoot whoever. I mean, if it's kids, women, men, anybody, just shoot them. They're going to stop coming over. Because if you don't do that, they'll use children and women as shields to get themselves over. And then they'll put more women and children at risk because they know that they can use them as collateral so they can get more of themselves over. That's the way it works. That's the way an animal thinks, and these people are animals. It's just the way it is. They're savages. Absolute fucking savages. Hamas tactics, yeah, terrorists. Of course you don't want to do that. Doesn't mean you want to do it. But you have to do what you need to do in order to enforce your borders, man. Like, that's the way it is. People are too emotional to see that. Yeah, I mean, like, again, like, it's... You can't make decisions that way. And I understand the way that I talk about this might be a little bit extreme. It might be a little bit, unemotional. I wish we had more people like me. I do. I wish we had more, because we got too many pussies that are too worried about the optics of something rather than the reality of it.
Yeah, he's just like, kill everyone. And basically he's saying that, so he's talking about anyone who's like coming over the border or any immigrants coming over the border. Now, to say just kill them all is psychotic. That's psychotic. Like, that's psychotic. And he's saying, yeah, everyone's just too emotional, and everyone's just too emotional, and this is how you have to do it. Name anywhere else that has to do it. Like, what bothers me the most is like when people, because I mean, I've talked to my dad about this, I've talked to people in my family about this, and what bothers me the most about this conversation is when people are like, oh, try to go to another country and see how you fit. I'm like, yeah, they're not gonna kill you, is the thing. Like, maybe they won't let you stay. Maybe you'll have to like pay a fine, or I don't know, but they're not going to kill you, and they're not going to put you in a concentration camp. Like, what are we saying? Like, what are we saying? Like, that's what is so frustrating about this, is like, you have people on the right who are like, just kill them all, put them in concentration camps, who cares? And it's like, and then their excuse is, oh, try to go to another country. Yeah, if you go to another country, they're not going to kill you for coming into their country. What? They're also not going to put you in a concentration camp. Like, what is happening? We're a concentration camp where people have been dying, like almost on a daily basis. There have been people dying because they are not getting the adequate care and food and health care that they need. Okay? And so it's like, no, what? No. It's the most insane and ridiculous response. But the way Asmongold is trying to talk about it, he's just kind of like, oh, well, it's just what we got to do. It's what deters people. First of all, that doesn't deter people, okay? Because that's what people use for like the death penalty of like, and this is a civil crime, not a violent crime, not whatever. It's just so stupid, and it's over paperwork. The death penalty, for instance, everyone's like, oh, if you have these really harsh sentences, if you have these really, if you might have to die by the state, then people won't do it. Then it's a deterrence, and that is not true. That is not how this works. That is not true. That is just not the case. And so it's ridiculous to be like, oh, that's going to deter people. It may deter some people. Yeah, of course. But is it going to deter everyone? No. And it's also just so inhumane. And that's not like, and I hate that having emotions. Like, I hate this right-wing conservative bullshit, like propaganda of having emotions is somehow weak. And of course, I think it's a lot of misogyny as well. There's misogyny baked into that. But like them getting angry and them being like, oh, kill everyone, that's an emotion. Like, that's you being angry, even though he's saying it in like a calm voice. You're still angry, you're still vengeful, you're still spiteful. Like, I don't know, there's something wrong with you. Those are still emotions, okay? And hell fucking yes, I am emotional. Hell fucking yes, I feel for people. Hell fucking yes, I don't want them to die, and I don't want anything to happen to them. No, yes. Why is that a bad thing? Why is that somehow like, oh, people just are just too emotional. They just can't kill everyone who comes over an imaginary line in the ground. It's just ridiculous. And I'm glad he got banned. He deserves to get banned. He deserved to get banned so many times before this. But this is what's so frustrating about this whole conversation, is that you have people on the left like Hassan, you have people on the left that are being called terrorists, that are being called radicals and dangerous and all this other kind of shit. While you literally have people like Asmongold, you literally have people, what is it, Maxwell, that rep, that is like abusing his daughter and his wife. And people knew about it, and he is just now being asked to drop out, but he's not dropping out. The deadline to drop out has passed, so he's not dropping out. And so he's going to run as the Republican. You have people like this, and yet like Hassan and Abdul and AOC and Cori Bush and all these people are being called radical and crazy and like just insinuate, a lot of it's racism, but like insinuating that there's something dangerous about them because of their views. No, I'm sorry. The only dangerous views are the literal bloodthirsty ones and the literal violent ones coming from people like Asmongold on the right. Like, and that's just the truth. That's just the truth. And so it's really frustrating when this happens, but I'm happy he got banned. He deserved to get banned. And he has since reacted. So here's a little bit of a snippet of his reaction to getting banned.
I probably do dial it up a little bit too much, and maybe I could use different rhetoric, etc. But I want to let you know that I apologize for nothing. I meant exactly what I said, and I think that these borders should be defended with lethal force whenever it's being invaded by 40 to 60,000 people at the same time. I don't think that I said anything wrong. I think that a lot of people actually would agree with me, and so I apologize for absolutely nothing. I said it in a very abrasive way, and I'm going to continue communicating that way. It's how I was raised, and I'm not sorry. And I understand that sometimes I use abrasive language. Sometimes I communicate in a way that's a little bit, harsh. And, people can say I'm mean. They can say I'm evil. They can say everything. But they're not saying I'm wrong. I'm not sorry. It's probably not going to stop.
Yeah. Yeah. And so he's saying he's not sorry. He's saying that this should keep like this is what he wants to happen, and that he's too bold. Again, and see, this is why it's like, I constantly post stuff and I was like, oh, is that too spicy? Like, I went after Jasmine Crockett pretty good in my last video, and I'm like, was that too spicy? I don't know. But then it's like I look at people like Asmongold and I'm like, why am I worried about what I'm saying? Like, why? Because I'm not saying shit like that. Like, I'm not saying violent shit like that. Like, why am I worried about what I'm saying? Even though people on the left will get punished in the algorithm for stuff like that, people on the right, people like Asmongold, they get rewarded in the algorithm for stuff like that, for violent rhetoric like that. And this is like the first time he's actually had any consequences. So good. I'm glad. He should. This is ridiculous. He's not sorry. He says it's true. This is what he wants. This is what we have to do, which is psychotic, literally psychotic. So this is how Hassan responded. He put Hitler is dead, which I think is kind of funny. But then Elon Musk also decided to get into the conversation. So Elon said, why does Twitch have this double standard? And he's basically talking about Hassan and Asmongold, which again is really funny because Asmongold has gone after Hassan for his rhetoric 1,000,000 times over. Everyone, Ethan, all these other people have gone after him 1,000,000 times over when right-wingers have been saying this about immigrants, about Muslims, about Palestinians, about trans people, about gay people. This is a common occurrence. This is a common violent rhetoric that happens and for so many different groups of people, but most recently and most prominently Palestinians and immigrants. And that is what happens consistently. Is they're like, oh, we should kill them all. We should kill them all. And they say that over and over and over again. Oh, mass deportation. And then now they're putting they're killing immigrants and protesters on the street, ISIS. There was a ruling the other day that they only have to use body camera footage when it's helpful to ICE. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, that is literally like the ruling. That is literally the rule now, is that they only have to look at body camera footage. They only have to release it. They only have to consider it when it's helpful to ICE. Is that a democracy? Is that a free country? I'm gonna go off on a little bit of a tangent because it made me think of that. But something that I hate. It's something that happened a lot, like when I was at Oshkosh, because there's a lot of conservatives at that event. But something I always heard, because always hear is like, oh, they fought for our freedoms, or we have to fight for our freedoms, or we fight like, oh, we're freedom, or whatever the fuck. And I'm like, what freedom? Like, what freedom are you talking about? Exactly what freedom do you mean? Because this is not freedom. This is not free. And especially like as we keep going, I mean, it's increasingly not free. The other thing that makes me think about that is that they have extended the National Guard in DC until 2029. They have something up their sleeves. They do. But anyway, this is how Hassan responded to Elon Musk. That was a big tangent. Sorry. Because the great replacement, which I'm making fun of here, is not real. And Asmongold urged people to shoot and kill migrant children, which is very real. No, exactly. And I'm sick and tired of this double standard. I'm sick and tired of leftists and people on the left being this caricature of extremism and dangerous. And now you can't scroll on Instagram or anywhere else without the Washington Post or the Atlantic with some stupid ass headline like, oh, is this too woke, or oh, is this really gonna help the Democrats? It's bullshit. It's all bullshit. And it's because people in power and the establishment and the billionaires and the millionaires realize that people are over this shit. And when people do have the chance to learn of corruption and to learn of this dark money that is getting into politics, they don't want it. Okay, which is why I'm going to focus my next 2 years on pointing that out in St. Louis. I don't know how. Well, I'm gonna do like flyers and Instagram. I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out. If you want to help out, or if you have any ideas, let me know. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to talk about that today because I don't know. It's just it's something that of course is gonna keep happening. And as Democratic Socialists, or as the DSA gets bigger and more progressives and Democratic Socialists win, because I do believe that we will keep winning. We're not going to win everything, but I do believe that we will keep winning. And if we keep fighting, if we keep pushing, we will keep winning. And I think that the establishment and the people with the money are very scared and intimidated by that. And so I think that they are going to do whatever they can, and they are going to pull out all the stops to make that happen. And that's why, I don't know, I guess that's just why I want to point out this insane hypocrisy. And at least Twitch did something about it, At least they did, because I feel like Asmongold has said some pretty insane shit before, and they've let it slide. So I'm glad they didn't this time. Anyway, that's the video today. Let me know what you think below. On Wednesday, we're probably going to talk about like Abdul and Hassan and AOC and the reactions and the pushback on all that. And then Friday, we're probably going to talk about the Wisconsin primary race and how that ends up, and then Maylot, because that's something I've been meaning to cover. She had a really bad response on Palestine the other day, and I listened to it, and she has since responded to the response. So we'll go over that as well. Yeah. All right. Well, I love you all very much. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here and sticking through all my inconsistencies. I'm finally not going anywhere. I'm staying put for, the next few months. So I feel like kind of getting back in my routine. So yeah, thank you. And we will be going, I will be going live at some point again. I just, got to figure out my new microphone situation. Well, I love you all very, very much. Tell me what you think below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.